Welcome. Welcome to live stream number 3 on the Plan, Pack, and Travel channel. Well, as you know, this channel's just trying to get off the ground. And so far, we've had some live streams. Nobody's come, but that's okay. Eventually, these videos that will be on replay on YouTube we'll cover some topics that maybe some people are interested in. They can catch up on the backside. Now, today's topic is going to be touring the world. What does that really mean? At least to me. All right. Now, I made a few notes, and you'll see my eyes dart down and pick up some of the points I want to cover on my notes. But basically, to me, touring the world means being able to tour around the world without having to be totally rich. And it does not mean booking a tour with some tour guides. And even if you don't book tours with tour guides, it's so prevalent that people end up saying, "Oh, I'm gonna tour the world. I'm gonna go to Italy, and I've got a tour booked. We're gonna see Rome. We're gonna see the Parthenon. We're gonna see all the great sites, the Vatican, and there's a whole list of places we're gonna see." So people they book a tour and they have to board a flight that gets them there at the right time. And when they get there, they end up with a bunch of people all in one hotel who have a cattle call at 8 a.m. and they all eat from some buffet. And then they board some bus where they're taken by the hand and they're led to the first place they want to see. And as they get off the bus, somebody tells them, "Hey, we're going to be here for an hour and a half. Go explore, take your pictures, be back at the bus here in an hour and a half." Well, that's no way to see the world. And it's really expensive. Now, some people have money, but it's like the trip includes flight, it includes accommodations, maybe a couple meals a day, and herds the people around like cattle. And about 2 weeks after you're into this trip and you're headed on your flight home, you feel like you just barely saw anything. And what you didn't do was you didn't experience any of the culture. You didn't get to walk down some street that you had no idea where you were going and see some little mom and pop restaurant that made the best Italian food you ever saw or ever tasted. You're not going to get to see that. They're going to take you all the big sites, start a stopwatch on you, and then herd you back in the bus again. To me, that's no way for me to tour. It's like a mob travel. And you don't get to tune in or get the rhythm of anywhere. And what you end up spending $2,000 a person, and then you put another $1,000 on your credit card trying to buy, some sort of souvenirs and this, that, and the other. So, my thought is, wouldn't you rather break the world up into regions and countries and places within that country that you'd like to see? And then instead of jaunting off for two weeks with a round trip ticket that guarantees exactly what time you're going to get home, maybe you just buy a one-way ticket and you go to Rome. And the first night there, you have a reservation, maybe an Airbnb that you picked out for, and you said, I'm going to stay here for 2 nights. And then you might use a tip. If you really like that Airbnb, you might try and meet with the owner off to the side and see if he'd rent it to you for another longer period of time off of Airbnb, where there's less fees to him and less fees to you, and it's a little bit lower cost. But the main reason to only rent for a couple of days is it might not be as nice as the pictures. The area might not be as nice as the pictures. You just might not know. So if you're not happy with it, you're only out a couple of days, and on that couple of days, you might find yourself another place that you want to stay, another Airbnb, or you might want to take another one of the tips that I'm going to give you later on finding places that you could rent. And now you take 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and you visit those places within that city or that area that you want to see. And you know, some countries are a big place. You might want to visit Rome, but you might want to go to northern Italy and check out some little town up there that you researched and sounded appealing. And you might want to spend a week at that town and then spend a couple weeks at another place and get the feeling and the culture of where you're at. And you're not guaranteed you have to be anywhere. Now, after you've actually sampled the culture, if you want to tour the world, you can pick another country within that region. And then the travel will be less expensive, less stressful. You know, going from the United States to Singapore, that's a pretty long haul. But you might want to go a different route. You might want to go to the United States to Europe and spend a month there, and move a couple countries over and spend another couple months, and work your way towards Southeast Asia, a hop, skip, and a jump at a time, and you don't end up with any 30-hour travel plans. It's a different way of doing things, but it's something that needs to be considered and researched. And having that in your back pocket, you can live, literally, you'll spend less money at many, many, many places doing it like this than you will living in your home country, in a Western country like the United States or Canada or Australia or the UK. It's less expensive to do this. I mean, literally, there are hundreds of places in this world that are safe, and have interesting cultures, the single person could easily tour for $30, $35 a day, and a couple 50 a day. And that includes lodging and everything. If you're going to sample the country and not going to the quote unquote tourist traps, if you go to the tourist traps, you're going to pay way more for lodging. Every meal is going to be expensive. That's what it's geared for. But if you really get into the culture, you can tour the world on not a whole lot of money. I mean, literally, that's the reason why so many people go and become an expat and they settle down and say, I'm going to live in Panama, or I'm going to live in the Philippines, or I'm going to live in Malaysia. But that's just being an expat, moving somewhere and saying, this is going to be my new home. It's way less expensive than living in the Western world. You can literally tour the world on the same kind of money, with the exception of the cost of your transportation between regions and countries. And that can be very reasonable if you make small, infrequent airline flights. You know, if you're traveling in Europe and you say, well, I'm in Portugal, let's go to the next country over. And we don't have to take a plane. I mean, literally, there's countries in Southeast Asia, for example, where it might only cost $50 to hire a van and a driver to drive you several hundred miles across the border to the next country where you're going. You don't even have to fly, or you can take a train or a ferry or a bus. If you're not going too far, it's not too bad. You know, everybody's touring on a different budget. But the one thing when people say they want to tour the world is they start looking for people to plan it all for them. And, you know, here's the package. Take the package. Well, let me tell you, those packages have two major faults in my mind, maybe more than two. The fault number one, you're part of a herd. And you might say, hey, that's not bad. I'm going to meet some people and they're going to be looking at things. Well, you can meet those same people that are visiting those same places who happen to be part of the herd. And you don't have to be part of the herd, but you might meet the same people. And two, you're on their schedule. You go to the places they want to go to when they want to go to them. And you leave when you want to leave. And you come back to the hotel. And dinner's at 6. And breakfast is at 8. And hey, it's your life. Do what you want. But this is just a tip I wanted to bring out. Something to think about. Hopefully a way to build some traffic on the channel. Eventually somebody might find some of these videos and want to follow them. But I'm going to try to come up with a little bit of a different topic every day until I get some people who might want to ask some questions that I might have already researched. So I'm going to try to keep these videos to 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. So, you know, I know you can save money and live an amazing life this way. And I'm all in myself. I mean, I can't get out of here fast enough. And hopefully by the end of the year, I will be free of my chains that are binding me to this location, house, and possessions and so forth. And hopefully I'll be slow traveling the world myself. And I'll probably make one big jump to somewhere and then start making little hops from there and work my way around. Make yourself a list of places you want to go, lay them out on the map, and say, what makes sense? I'd really love to go to Panama. And then let's see, if I spend a little time in Panama, then maybe I can check out Costa Rica. And from Costa Rica, I could go to the island of St. Kitts. And from St. Kitts, I could go to the Bahamas. And from there, I might jump over. There's 15 different places I know of personally I want to see in Mexico. I mean, you could spend a lot of time in Mexico. There's a lot of neat places. We'll get to that later. But thank you for watching. Hope somebody eventually does watch this. And, you know, sometimes they say when you teach, you learn yourself. And it's all about putting one foot in front of the other to achieve your dreams. And when you stop dreaming, you stop living. That's one of my thoughts. You only get so many trips around the sun, so it's time to go have some fun. Thanks for stopping by. We'll see you next time.